Hello, everyone. I'm Issei Fujishiro from Keio University, Japan. Before starting our presentation, let me briefly introduce the relationship between Professor Kunii and myself. In 1985, 30 years ago, I started my academic career as an assistant professor at Professor Kunii's laboratory in the University of Tokyo. I worked for him for 3 years before getting a PhD and moving to the University of Tsukuba. On your left is a leaflet page to introduce Professor Kunii's laboratory in the Information Sciences Department. That year was indeed a memorial year when the Visual Computer Journal was first published. 2 years later, 1987, was another memorial year when Professor Kunii had Shiji International Conference started in Karizawa, Japan. On your right, this is a snapshot with Professor Xiaoyan Mao, who is my wife, and Professor Tsukasa Noma from Kyushu Institute of Technology. All the three of us belongs to Professor Kunii's lab. A favorite phrase of Professor Kunii at that time was, think of establishing a new international conference or international journal rather than submitting your paper to SIGGRAPH. Putting his teaching into practice, I myself founded IEEE Pacific Visualization Symposium in 2008 and served as a chair for more than 30 international conferences so far. In the middle, you can see a small macro autoradiography image of rat brain, which is encoded efficiently by G-quadtree, a hierarchical representation of 2D grayscale image. This was published as the first paper of mine co-authored with Professor Kunii in the second volume of the Visual Computer Journal in 1986. In tribute to the fact that the paper was related to medical imaging, for today's presentation, I picked up one recent work on computational forensics, the main part of which will be presented by Martin Wang, one of my PhD students. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, I'm Baoqin Wang. I'm honored to give a presentation at workshop in homage to Professor Kunii. The presentation topic is for our paper, FORSETI, a visual analyzed environment for authoring autopsy reports in extended legal medicine markup language. I will classify the forensic autopsy goals and their corresponding computational text, and give an overview of FORSETI system. Originally, FORSETI is the name of the god of justice in Norse mythology. In modern city, finding out the reason why an individual died is a crucial thing. It can improve security or prevent similar accident happening again, so forensic science comes up. Besides the word computation can be appended to a lot of disciplines, for example, computational journalism or computational biology. In the same vein, a body of knowledge called computational forensics can be defined. Usually, a complete autopsy report consists of two parts, physical autopsy and virtual autopsy. The right diagram illustrates the traditional autopsy reports for physical autopsy and virtual autopsy. It is widely used in current work of medical examiner and diagnostic radiologist. So, the FORSETI is designed to resolve the problem. How to better cooperation for medical examiner and diagnostic radiologist to author autopsy reports. Also, we have achieved some works before designing of FORSETI and Siemens. In previous work, a browser with authoring tool using a language called Legal Medicine Markup Language is presented. For short, I use LMML for Legal Medicine Markup Language. The upper figure is a general workflow of our developed application named the LMML browser. The LMML browser assists medical examiner to efficiently author the physical autopsy reports and then export them to lawyer and judges for viewing. The lower figure shows the structure of LMML file. It is composed of more than 600 unique nodes to arrange, describe, store forensic data involved in a physical autopsy case. But the LMML browser does not support the virtual autopsy reports. To build FORSETI supporting virtual autopsy and physical autopsy, we did a more detailed domain analysis in legal medicine. You can see the figure. The main types of forensic autopsy to be performed are physical autopsy and virtual autopsy, which are the fundamental work of medical examiner and diagnostic radiologist, as shown by A1 and A2 arrows. The blue arrow B1 represents medical examiner performing physical autopsy with referring virtual autopsy funding. The purple arrow B2 represents the diagnostic radiologist performing virtual autopsy with referring physical autopsy funding. Highlight is that performing and referring generally occur at the same time. Usually, medical examiner and diagnostic radiologist cooperate with each other in most forensic autopsy cases. However, in some special autopsy cases, only virtual autopsy or physical autopsy can be performed. In most autopsy cases, a general workflow can be defined. Initially, A1 and A2 are performed in concurrent manner, followed by examination that are repetitive and detailed. So medical examiner and diagnostic radiologist needs to closely cooperate with each other for reference. To classify goals of the forensic autopsy and the corresponding computational text, we specify goals from two procedures about autopsy report, referring and authoring, and to associate them with two groups of text, virtual assistance and data processing. Each of forensic autopsy goals is supported by multiple computational texts, as shown in the green line of figure. Here, the markup text are almost completed now. The illustrative sense juxtaposition is planned to be implemented in the FORSETI prototype. This slide illustrates the overall structure of FORSETI system, which has four parts: input, manipulation, provenance management, and output. The workflow starts with the input A, which is to input various forensic data collected in the entire period of autopsy. In the manipulation part, we have three subparts: B, C, D. In physical autopsy B, physical autopsy authoring tool is designed to author physical autopsy report. In virtual autopsy D, virtual autopsy toolbox is designed to assist diagnostic radiologist to perform virtual autopsy and author its report. Highlight is autopsy juxtaposition. The autopsy juxtaposition utilizes three methods: corpse model juxtaposition, illustrative sense juxtaposition, and wood photograph juxtaposition. Those methods act as a bridge between medical examiner and diagnostic radiologist for their cross-reference. The main responsibility of output E is to present the XMML file in the e-autopsy report or traditional autopsy report. To support the above-mentioned progress, the XMML file F relies on the system mechanism to capture input data and the key action within the manipulation. The life cycle of e-autopsy report is to be management in terms of data provenance in the planned design of the FORSETI system. This slide I will show the user interface of FORSETI prototype. It is designed to consist of the two functionality panels, Interaction A and Presentation B. The Interaction panel is responsible for all the interaction with the various forensic data through the use of virtual autopsy toolbox. The Representation panel is displays the dataset, realized in an online manner. As shown B, target data with some corresponding diagnostic information and visual representations are presented. Thumbnail C shows the juxtaposed wood photograph of skin wood. The thumbnail matrix D illustrates the result obtained through the use of virtual autopsy toolbox. As shown in E, user's action performed from the interaction panel can be captured into the XMML file and thus displayed in the representation panel. As shown in thumbnail F, a smartphone display shows that the exported virtual autopsy findings are superimposed with real piece of evidence. As the illustration shows, to fit to extended functionality of FORSETI, we enriched the syntax of LMML for developing XMML. 1,200 targets are involved in XMML file. The blue is physical autopsy targets and its old structure in LMML file. The green and yellow represents the structure of virtual autopsy part and autopsy juxtaposition part. This is our designed virtual autopsy toolbox. It allows diagnostic radiologists to select and apply interactive both within sampling, adjusting, mirroring panel to perform corresponding those actions. Emphasized is labeling and mirroring panel that allows diagnostic radiologists to interactively label previous identified wound features with detailed texture description. This slide shows our designed referring manner for medical examiner and diagnostic radiologist to refer each other's work. The wood photograph juxtaposition allows diagnostic radiologists to interactively register processed wood photos on surface of 3D model. The corpse model juxtaposition is designed to support a referring manner that allows medical examiner to superimpose a virtual corpse model with highlighted labels onto real corpse model in a 3D AR setting. A fictitious case with the visible female dataset is used to demonstrate the effectiveness of an initial prototype of the FORSETI. We have processed the visible female dataset to give 3 synthetic wounds. Those wounds are placed both at the internal and external position of the body, as shown in the right figure. A scalp wound on the left side of the head, a stab wound on the right side of the wrist, and a gunshot wound on the forehead. A final autopsy report using the injured visible female dataset is presented in this slide. 2 kinds of autopsy report can be generated. One is e-autopsy report, the other is traditional autopsy report. To be as realistic as possible, the diagnostic information for the injured visible female dataset is mimicked by reference to actual autopsy case in our project. Next, I will show the various functionality of FORSETI prototype by a video.
Due to the privacy issues, restrictions and ethical implications, at this point, we are not allowed to use actual corpse datasets used in our project for any paper that we publish. We have processed the visible female dataset to give 3 synthetic wounds for demonstrating the effectiveness of the FORSETI prototype. Furthermore, to be as realistic as possible, the diagnostic information for the injured, visible female dataset is mimicked by reference to actual autopsy cases in our project. Python was used to develop the FORSETI prototype, in which PyQt was used to build the user interface and VTK was used to implement the visualization functionalities. The VTK supports various visualization algorithms, including texture mapping, volume rendering, and ISO surface rendering, and advanced modeling techniques such as implicit modeling, polygon reduction, mesh smoothing, and cutting. Therefore, the various visualization needs in the FORSETI prototype can be fully satisfied. The FORSETI prototype was evaluated on a middle-end laptop running Ubuntu. And it can be reported here that all functionalities ran smoothly within the environment.
3 texts are included in our future work. First is integrating the themes with FORSETI. The second is install the illustrative sense juxtaposition in FORSETI. The most important issue is third one, implement the provenance management functionality in FORSETI. Our computational forensics project is under 3 GSPS grants. Okay, that's all. Thanks for your listening.